Hello teacher, my name is Heng Vutha. This is my special individual assignment presentation on the topic that summary the introduction linguistic from chapter 1 to chapter 9. Here's my content from the chapter 1 to the chapter 9. The chapter 1, introduction of the nature communication. All the animal convey the information to the member of their own species and often to the member of the other species. Non-human animal communication can be extremely elaborate. Yet, what's the strike of us that in comparing non-human and human communication in the scope of the human communication, human language are open and uh, simile free. We are not limited to the small numbers of call or song about the restricted number or events. Then the communication is in large part stimulate bounds. There is basically only one uh, way to be have an American white-ground sparrow because all the birds are generally programmed to react similarly as the same as stimulus. This conclusion is just unjustified. The protocol components. Component components is the study of the speech sound, their physical property, the way they received and decoded by the brain, and the way they are produced. Phonetics can be divided in the three semi-independent areas: acoustics, the phonetic, auditory, phonetic, and subject of the chapter, articulatory phonetics. Yet we perceive the utterance to be the makeup of the individual word. Paraphrase and sentence is the celebrated by the various boundary. The articulate pronunciation segment speaks into the until the cell phone. Even though a phone can be described in the simulation in the speech in the ideal shape of the phone is the vary due to the phonetic environment. Speech sounds initiated by the air stream. The phonetical component. The air stream can be altered when the vocal set in the vibration. This is the result. Vocal sound and part vocal cause the length of the vibration and a wireless sound, and the air stream can flow through the oral uh, cavity, acutely creating an oral sound. Or the air stream can pass through the oral nasal cavity, result in the nasal sound. If the air stream is impaired when the speak organ touch another, we say that consonant has produced the memoratory impediment can occur at any location from the lotteries to lips. The manner of the implement can be various in momentary. Complete the blockage of the airstream to the minimal obstruction found in the production of the liquid sound. This is the chapter 3, the phonological component, phonology. Phonology is the study of the sound system of the language. That is, what are the language and what are the rules of combining the sound into the larger units. The phonetics transcription narrow we can call the narrow transcription, will record as much as detail as we can positive. We can produce the sound the following like t, 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 t. Example like bat, cat, fat, hat. Make sound more complex, less in the language learned by the children, and mark t, t, uh, thus represent narrow transition for the T sound in the English. None of those variation distinctive because they are not signal different in the meaning when the substitute for each others. Minimal parts are the set or terrain in which there are the same number of the segment. 2. There is a one phonetic difference. 3. There the difference occurs in the same place in the form, and 4. There is a difference in the meaning in English. Minimal sets cannot be found for the T sound listed earlier. Therefore, all of the T sounds should be phonemically written the same as T. T. There are non-destructive features have been eliminated, such as the phonetic transmission, also called the board or transcription. Phonemes can be such a rule of the simulation produce a features and numbers nature of the distinctive feature is the diffuse issues. Ultimately, a list can be devised that could be used to describe all the phonemes in all languages, such as the leaf distinctive features may have to lead to understanding universal phonological principles. Chapter 4, the morphological component. Morphology is the study of the rules of converting the internal structures of the words, the interrelationship that exists among words, the basic units of the morphology is the morpheme of. There are two types of bound and free. Bound morphemes can be deliberation or the conflictional. Divisional morpheme when added to a word change the meaning a part of the speech. Example like in the picture below. There are three kinds of the semantic language type words discussed: emotion, accumulating, and hypnosis. In reality, the most language makes the uh, prological principle to the various degree. Morpheme may have the different phonemic shape. The phonemic shape that is used depend on the sound characteristic of the morpheme being combined. Because of the both morpheme and phonology are involved in the subcutaneous decision, the study of them is called morphominic. The words are consistently entering the language. The process compounding, blending, acronymic formation, foreign words, borrowing, clapping, derivation, back information using the proper name and using the trade name in some for the common way that the new words are formed. 5 is syntax. Syntax is the study of the rule tools to combine a morpheme and the word into the linguistic units larger than the words. Morphology is the grammar of the words. Phonology is the grammar of the word speak sound, a level of grammar specified referring to the arrangement of the word and the morpheme in the construction of the sentence. A sentence can be defined by its structures, the numbers of independent and dependent clause is contained, or by the function of declarative various imperative or example, like in the picture. In the 1950th century, Nanchowski revelation the study of the syntax with his concept of the transformation generative grammar. This idea states that before we speak, we have a formulation, an idea of what we are going to say, a universal grammar, a basic rewriter of the brain that reproduces of all people to encode experience logistic in a specific way, converting the idea into the phrase structure rule. The universal phrase structure will lead to the deep structures. To be understandable to other, the deep structures must be encoded in the specific grammar of the language that one speak, one experience is encoded in the deep structure. It is transformed by moving the least substitution or inserting the various element until the grammatical utterance is formed. Surface structures. In 1995, he published the mini-list program in which he made additional change to his previous hypothesis about the language, including the dropping concept of the deep of the surface structures. Chapter 6, Cinematic and Prosematic. Cinematic of the study of the meaning linguistic expression, such as the morpheme, verb, phrase, closed sentence, parametric of the study of the affective context in the meaning. The words are similar to each other or the meaning sound, hyponym, synonym, homonym, or the antonym. In construct a synonym, homonym, homophone, and the words that sound the same have a very different meaning. Polysynonyms and the word have more than one meaning. The word have the opposite meaning are called antonym, which can be classified as the complementary, pair, gradable pairs of relation opposites. Between them, this is in the picture and showing what the difference between minimistic and the platonistic. Social linguistic and linguistic autoropy. People language commonly live in the world, socialize and communicate together in dialect or variety of their language. Standard American English is the predominant dialect in the United States. BBC English is the predominant dialect in the United Kingdom. Relational dialects show the semantic variation, syntactic variation, and political variation. African American African American English is the one of the term of the varieties of the English spoken in the different part of the United States by the African American. It can be most important by the African American culture, heritage and Commonwealth volume African American reached back to the fourth uh, between SAE and AAE. The circumstance require this is a practice of the changing of the one style language to another is called the switching. The characteristics of the AAE have often been misunderstood as the correct English. One fact of the American culture has been preserved in African American culture is res respect and admire for the man of the world. Some of the characteristics of the Hispanic English are the result of the application of the Spanish phonological system on the English word and Spanish words ordered on the Spanish English sentence. Other characteristics such as the double negation from the grammar of the other interesting scientific practice of the delegation. Hispanic American is used to the Spanish inflection morpheme with the English verb when the people is the different culture come together, contact the language communication, a common second language can become the luna franca. Language acquisition. acquisition. Language acquisition is a type of process which humans require the capacity of the previous and comprehends language. In the other words, gain the ability to awareness of the language to use and understand as well as the produce and use the word and the sentence communicates. Many linguists believe that the potential for the language indicates to the human and the children are born with a brain had wired for ability to learn a language. This is a head wiring in the brain that have been called the language acquisition device and seem to revert during the child according to the critical period hypothesis. Around 1 year of around 1 year of age, children begin to say one word, a trend which refer to the whole phrase. This is the state of the language acquisition is the homophrase a state of the same time that after 18 months of the age, children enter the two-word state in which they combine such a word of the action object, a procession, and action location as the children begin to add more words, utter and describe the telegraphic speech as they begin to learn the rules of the morphology. They require the plural marker which they overgeneralize. As earlier in the 6-month baby indicate that they understand the meaning of the words by looking at the object, person mentioned by the age of the child. Their productive vocabulary will be about 14,000 words. Their respective vocabulary is considerably larger. Children over extend the meaning of the word. They may also underextend them. 9 is sign language. This is a short review of the ASL that has made the following point. The first fact of the deaf children is signing the environment, learning the manual vision modes communication as easily as hearing the children learn speak indicates that a language has a speak and not the same thing. Second, the device to the communicate in linguistic is excited strong. When one of the part linguistic delivery is close to human will find to another shirt. The basic principle of phonology or morphology, syntax, cinematic, remarkably similar to signing the oral language. Signing language structure is based on the variation in several parameters that include the hand shape, location of the sign, movement of the sign, palm orientation, the region of the hand that contact the body, the orientation of the hand and respect each other, and the non-manual sign. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you.